This is where the gaslighting gets really good.
My nickname around these parts is Dead Weight.
I hadn't been considering scissoring.
I'm prepared to travel in time.
We were deep into an Adam Sandler rabbit hole in this podcast. How did that happen? A lifetime of Hallmark.
Well, hello, everybody. It is your favorite day of the week. It is time for another episode of A Lifetime of Hallmark, where we talk about movies on both Lifetime and the Hallmark Channel and try to make sense of them. Hello, Jason Bowers.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett. You didn't introduce yourself like you normally do.
Oh, I'm Les Kirkendall Barrett. It's been a while. I'm Les Kirkendall Barrett. Hello. And hello, Jason Bowers.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett.
And hello, Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett, and hello, Jason Bowers.
Hi.
I think I'm off my game because I'm still recovering because I've had a celebrity-filled few days. You know, yesterday.
Yes. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yesterday I spotted a celebrity named Jason Bowers.
Really?
Yes, we were both out in the wild at the same time, Kurt.
You're
yes.
both, because many people don't know, I've never actually met Jason in real life, only online. It's going to be really weird. I sometimes think about what it's going to be like when we actually meet.
Yeah, it was funny. Last night was fun too. Yeah. We were out late. I ended up at Rocco's last night.
Where did you go? Okay, Rocco's. Okay.
Well, we ran into each other on the street. Then we went to Revolver.
Yes. Although I knew that John, your husband, was at Revolver because I'd seen him there earlier.
Yeah. But it was funny because I think this is the first time I've seen you in person since the pandemic.
Oh, that's possible. Yeah, that's probably right.
Because I was like, oh, I think that's Jason. I'm like, oh, it is.
That's exciting.
But as exciting as this was, Les, and it was lovely to see you, you saw somebody else today. Yeah, Kurt and I had a lot of questions.
Do I get news music or?
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, this is huge.
And now, for the most important celebrity spotting ever, here's Les Kirkendall Barrett.
Oh my God. Okay, so I was innocently walking out of my chiropractor, minding my own business, and I love the fact that the irony is we were supposed to record, but I got my chiropractor was running behind, so we had to push back our recording. And so I'm rushing out of the chiropractor on my way to get in my car so I can come back home so we can record. And who do I almost run into as I'm walking out of the door and he's walking into the door? Eric Roberts.
Wow.
Yes.
I can't believe he wasn't working.
Yeah.
Was there a camera crew following him?
No, there was not.
Because he's always working on some movie, you know?
Yeah. So, and I was kind of taken aback because I was just like, and I didn't want to make a scene, but I literally was like, oh shit, that's Eric Roberts. And I almost bumped into it.
What, was he going into the office?
So here's the deal. And like I said before we started, I'm not going to reveal the name, so you won't be able to find out where the chiropractor is.
HIPAA laws.
But it's a chiropractor, and it's attached to a gym, but it's like one of those private gyms.
Got it.
And those are the only two.
Like one of the kinds of places that does like physical therapy.
It's a chiropractor.
Yeah. No, but I mean the gym probably does physical therapy if they're attached.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, You're right. So, so I'm not sure which one he was going to, but there's only two businesses there. So It was either or.
So the obvious follow-up question is, when is he going to be on a Lifetime of Hallmark podcast?
I know. Here's the deal, though. He looked, okay, I'll use my words carefully just in case. He kind of has one of those faces where it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to mess with him.
Oh,
like
okay.
He has like a
a resting bitch face?
let's call it he has like back off face. Like
so not even resting bitch face, more like resting I will fuck you up face.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think it's a resting Eric Roberts face.
and here's the deal. Okay, so he was wearing like baggy sweatpants, and it's like, okay, and by the way, it's like 1,000,000 degrees today in LA. Mm-hmm. Like seriously. So he had on like long baggy sweatpants, and then he had a long baggy sweatshirt. Like he's a lot thinner than I thought. He's thinner than I thought and shorter than I thought.
Okay.
But you know the glasses like the tinted glasses, he's wearing those, the red ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess those are his real glasses.
That makes sense.
Well, he probably took those home from a set.
Yeah.
Probably. So
I could see him wearing like the sweatsuits because I don't know. Because he's always in and out of wardrobe, you know, because he's always working on a movie. So you get this, I don't know, sweatsuits. He could probably put on a costume and put the sweatsuit over it and go to the chiropractor, run some errands and come back and, you know.
I feel like Eric Roberts needs to have like the wardrobe people on like Saturday Night Live. They have to do such quick costume changes that they have these little like setups on the side of the stage where if you're like Kate McKinnon and you're in back-to-back sketches playing different characters, like she goes in there and has to do a wardrobe change in about 20 seconds. So they have like people just dressing her so she can walk right out and do the other thing.
Right.
I think Eric needs that.
Yeah. Because he's busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very busy.
Yeah. He's like a Hallmark heroine.
He
is,
really is. And so I'm wondering if like today's like his only day off. Like is it one of those like I take Mondays off like in the theater?
Oh, maybe.
Mondays are dark.
He's dark today.
It's his day to do errands and go to the doctor.
Right.
That's right.
So that's what I was doing today.
What if he has to bring a note to the set and say, I have a doctor's appointment? I have a note from the doctor. I couldn't work on a movie for one day of the year.
Because that's the funny thing is today, that's the day I'm having today because I'm in a show. I'm in a theater. I'm in a show right now. And today's like my only day off. And I'm running around doing errands all day.
Yeah, when you sent us your schedule for today when we were trying to coordinate a time to record, you're like, well, I'm open for this window, but not this window. And I'm open for this other window, but then I have to be somewhere else right after that. I
understand the whole thing. Yeah, it was like I opened from 5 to 6 open, 6 to this, 7:15 to 7:17. I was like, well, wait, which?
You should have just shared your calendar with us.
Yeah.
If you must know, since today's my only day off. So right. I had to record another podcast.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I had to record another podcast. And then I run a clubhouse. I moderate a clubhouse room. Today I moderate the Real Housewives of Potomac recap room on Clubhouse. And then I had my chiropractor appointment.
Right. Wait, Real Housewives of Potomac what?
It's a recap room. Basically on Clubhouse, I talk about last night's episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac.
There's a Real Housewives. Where's Potomac? Where's that?
It's like DC, right?
In the Washington DC. Yes.
Yeah.
And then I was supposed to have my acting class from 7 to 9.
Yeah.
But my acting teacher got food poisoning, so she canceled class.
Okay.
So now this is the last thing I have to do for the day.
Me too. It's my last thing I have to do today.
Okay.
Yikes. Les is a busy man.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Jason.
Yeah.
Talking to your friend last night, I felt very bad that he's had to endure Hallmark movies.
Oh, you're talking about my friend Brad?
Movies that he's watched.
Look, don't feel bad because I have not once asked him, hey, will you watch this with me? He is like, what are you doing tonight? And I'm like, oh, I'm watching a Hallmark movie. He's like, oh, I'll come over and I'll drink and we can watch. I'm like, you don't have to. He's like, no, that's all right. So he's volunteered the 3 times he's done it. It's on him.
Because he rattled off the names of the 3 movies, and I was like, Oh, I'm sorry.
And they were all bad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The 3 that he has watched with me were all terrible.
No.
Yes, that's why I felt bad. That's why I was like, that's why I kept on saying you need to watch a Lifetime one.
Oh, I've told him that too.
Just to clear your palate.
Yeah.
Well, it was a social experience for him, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Poor
Demented
guy.
and sad, but social, as they say in the Breakfast Club. Nice.
Poor, because yeah, he rattled off the names. I was like, oh, God, oh.
Well, we have to watch them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some exciting news if you want to.
I have something else. Les,
yes.
I think Les has something else to share that he probably forgot about already. You sent us something in our thread the other day that you were on stage at a clubhouse.
Remember?
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. Oh, and it ties into Kurt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I was on, so Blac Chyna is on Clubhouse. And it is my mission before the year is out to meet Blac Chyna. So Blac Chyna was hosting a room and I raised my hand and got on stage on the Blac Chyna stage in Blac Chyna's room. And so once you get on stage, that means that you can talk to them. Mm-hmm. But she had like a line of people, which I was willing to wait. And I waited, but then I guess Blac Chyna got bored because she left her own room.
Oh, well.
But I was close.
Are we the only ones talking about Clubhouse? Because this is the only place I hear. Not that I'm a vanguard on what's happening in the pop culture world necessarily, but
no, a lot of people are talking about Clubhouse actually.
I'm still listening to Men Without Hats, but I don't hear anything about Clubhouse.
Well, Clubhouse recently, because remember it was invite only. Now it's open to the public, like anybody.
I'm in. I got hooked into a couple of those things at first, but then I just haven't looked at it since then. I listened to Dane Cook's show on like Sunday nights, I guess it is. He does advice. People just give like random advice and he goes on and on. I got sucked into that for like an hour.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah.
And we are still, we still need to do our Lifetime of Hallmark live Clubhouse taping.
Yeah, we've had a little trouble this summer coordinating schedules more than usual, but
yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Things will get a little more on track in the near future, I hope.
We'll get it going.
In the fall. In the fall.
Yeah.
A lot has been going on. And we've been, it's always, but I love doing the show. So anyway, I can make it happen. Yeah.
I've been being an actress,
Yeah.
So
I want to get back to being an actress. I got my news though, if you want to hear it. I'm very excited about this.
Let's ask the question.
Okay. Do you want to just get started or where's my
I think Les should ask the question.
Oh, you need me?
Oh,
my God. Oh, I'm sorry. Kurt, any Blac Chyna news?
Doing a piece of China.
China.
I'm talking China.
The Blac Chyna Report. Here's Kurt Fitzpatrick.
all right. This news came out about an hour ago. This is from the website wrapup.com. That's wrap-up.com. Blac Chyna calls out Tyga. She says Tyga loves trans. Blac Chyna and Tyga's relationship has seemingly taken a turn. On Monday, the model took to Twitter to put her ex and the father of her son on blast, claiming he loves trans women. Tyga loves trans. Me too, she wrote, adding, tell the truth at Tyga. It's unclear what provoked her tweets or if she was hacked, but the bizarre messages currently remain on her timeline. The former couple, who split in 2014, share an 8-year-old son, King Cairo. After their split, Tyga went on to date Kylie Jenner. In an interview with Wendy Williams, Chyna said she wasn't aware of Tyga's relationship with Jenner until she was thrown out of their shared home. Tyga has not addressed Blac Chyna's comments. On Friday, he released his new single, Mrs. Bubblegum. Blac Chyna is also focused on a music career and recently dropped her single, Thick, featuring Designer. I think it's 2 eyes. Oh, there goes my throat. I got so close. The very last word, I got frog in my throat. That's it.
I don't
So
think I
wait.
knew about Blac Chyna having a record out. A song.
I know. I
don't
want to listen
either.
to it. I didn't have time. I didn't have 3 minutes to listen to it. I was too busy listening to that safety dance.
But she said that she likes trans people too.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay, well,
yeah. That's good. I think that's a good article. Get straight to the point.
Yeah.
right. But I'm a little worried. What was she wearing?
Let me take another look. There is a picture of her. I can describe it. She's wearing a very busty red outfit, and she's got some long earrings, more like a bracelet she has on her ears. And Tyga is wearing a Casablanca t-shirt and a white hat.
Oh, so he is not a Men Without Hats then.
No.
Right.
No.
Okay.
That's a very important distinction.
Well, I'm sure Blac Chyna is gearing up for trial.
Well, I don't
She
think
has
this
a court
Or,
case
or
soon.
for a
I don't think
promo
this issue's
tour.
going to go to court. Oh yeah, that. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, but this was the hot news. I mean, this was in like many of the news outlets. It's something that happened like an hour ago, 2 hours ago. When I looked at it, it was an hour. So this was the top headlining news for Blac Chyna.
Hot off the presses.
Yeah.
She said Tyga likes trans people. Well, nothing wrong with that. Trans people, I'm sure, are very nice.
Yeah.
We all know.
Yeah.
We all know
She said
trans people, of course.
she does too.
I'm sure we have a lot of listeners
Yes.
who are trans people, and we support them too. We, Tyga, Blac Chyna, we all like them.
Yeah.
I agree.
And Blac Chyna, if you want to come on the show and chat and let us know what you meant, you're more than welcome.
That's right.
This would be
We won't
my
have
dream
Tyga.
show would be
Yes.
us with Blac Chyna and Eric Roberts all at the same time. Not even individual appearances by the two of them, but the two of them together.
Yeah, we've got to do
Could
that.
you imagine?
Somebody could make that happen.
I bet he would totally hit on Blac Chyna.
That's our HBO show.
Like he'd be like, "Oh, China, yeah, I bet I could,"
I bet he does, too.
Like you'd be like, "Hey, Blac Chyna, I got something for you." I bet he would.
That sounds like his character when he's the
doctor.
doctor. Yeah.
Yes.
Here's a picture of my house.
Right. So, shall we talk about this movie that I watched 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it's been
watched-
a while since
I watched it twice. It's the first time in history I've watched one of these movies
And
twice
this
because,
movie should not be watched twice.
well, I thought I'd forget elements of it because I think I watched it a long time ago too. So I watched it again today.
And as you were, honest
Now,
question,
I-
like as you were watching it, rewatching it, were you like, oh yeah, I probably didn't need to rewatch this, or were you surprised by things that happened that you missed first time around?
No, I think it's good that I did. I feel more prepared.
Kurt,
Yeah.
You may need to fill us in, even though I did enjoy this movie.
It's not bad.
I legitimately
twice.
don't remember if I enjoyed it, but I don't think I did.
I mean, it wasn't boring. These things aren't boring, but that doesn't mean they're good necessarily.
Yeah.
I don't know, we'll talk about it. I like the lead actress. She, especially like the second viewing, I decided, she's a pretty good actor. I've decided.
And
Yeah.
this movie is very timely because it kind of plays into the Me Too movement.
Mm-hmm.
A very
Yeah.
sexist movie.
They even mentioned the college admissions scandal in there. They make reference to that.
Yes. This movie was kind of a cross between the college admission scandal movie and Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Yes.
And the Wizard of Oz. Where was Eyes Wide Shut?
Because they had those parties.
Yeah,
We'll get
have a
into
party like that. This movie.
Yeah, the party in this movie was pretty tame compared to an Eyes Wide Shut party.
I don't know if
It's
it's
college
the same
kids
movie.
drinking beer.
Yes.
Wide Shut. I like Eyes
I'll
Wide
tell
Shut.
you what I.
Some people
I'll
hate
tell
that
you
movie.
what I.
I'm sorry.
I'll point out when we get to what I thought was the Eyes Wide Shut.
Okay.
Now,
Oh, actually, I know which party you're talking about. Okay, I can kind of see that.
I still don't. Did you guys like Eyes Wide Shut? Because I really like it.
I've never seen it.
Okay.
I've only seen 5 minutes of it.
Oh, okay. I really like it, but some people hate it. So I was curious about that.
But this movie is called College Professor Obsession. It was a Lifetime movie.
Okay, so we're at a college party. The kids are drunk and having fun. And then we see this girl. She's very upset. And then we see her running, and she's being chased by someone in a black hoodie. And I was like, all right, here we go. The black hoodie has appeared.
Yeah, black hoodie with a gun. There's a gun too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right out of the gate.
Yes, they ramped it up. And so then they're fighting, and the black hoodie's like, give me the phone.
Yeah, he sounds like Kylo Ren. He's got a voice. I don't know how he did it. He's like got a distorted voice. Give me the gun. No, give me the phone. Give me the phone. Give me the phone.
Give me the phone.
Maybe he just did that.
So then the girl like falls off of the roof, and the entire party sees her fall off of the roof. And there's our cold open.
Yep.
Yeah, they all run out of the party and like gather around her. The party's over.
And then we have 1 week later. So then we see this girl. She's walking downstairs. She's wincing with pain, and we see her dad. Dad's on the phone. She's talking to her mom. We find out that she actually lost her scholarship. She had like a track scholarship, but she hurt herself, and so she lost it.
And by the way, she looks like there's only about 10 years age difference between her and the mom.
Yes.
Like
yes.
the girl cast as the college freshman was probably in her 20s, and the woman cast as her mom was probably 40 at most.
and she was like a hot mom.
Yeah, she was. And the dad, they look like the dad and the daughter almost look like a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. like the hot girl. She was like the hot girl with the hot parents.
And they talk about it. The daughter,
so then, yes.
the daughter Jenny, she talks about being nervous about the move, which they point out is 3 miles away.
Yes.
No, it's 30 miles.
Oh,
away.
Is it? Even
but
still,
that's
still nothing.
Yeah, it's still not that bad.
30 miles away, that's not that bad to go to college. I went to a whole other country to go to college.
Yeah.
You know, 30 miles, that's you could drive that in what, like an hour?
In 30 minutes if the speed limit's 60 on the freeway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the mom was basically acting like an idiot, because you would think that her daughter like went to college in Russia.
Yeah.
The way that she was acting.
Yeah. The daughter had a little bit of a Suzanne Plachette voice too, which I've always works in my favor. I like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that voice on women.
So she's very intent on, her goal is to go to the school and get her scholarship back. And so she's going to train to get it back.
Uh-huh.
And so so then she's very nervous about living in the dorms and having roommates. And she kind of doesn't want to do it, but the parents are like, well, you need to do it because that's how we met. We met in the dorms.
She has every right to be nervous considering what's about to happen. You know, she's not overreacting.
And then I actually wrote a note here that this was good casting because the mother and the daughter really do look alike.
Yeah, but they could have been sisters. Also, we're about to find out. Well, because the college she's going to is the same college from that opening scene where this girl fell to her death from the roof. So wouldn't that have been on news that would be circulated 30 miles past the college campus? How did this girl, Jen, and her mom and her dad, how had they not heard about this death before Jen went to school there?
Right. Exactly.
Because It's not like it happened like
on the
years
news-
ago and people forgot about it. It happened a week ago.
Yeah.
Maybe there was like
Yeah.
a major news story. Maybe it was like election day or something like that day, and
They just overshadowed it.
the party incident was like in the back burner.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah. So then,
I'm just trying to help the movie.
So then we're on campus. They're getting a tour of the campus, and the mom is just on one. She is just checking out guys.
Yeah, she's ready to go. She's pimping out her daughter. She's trying to hook him up with a tour guide. Look,
The
this
tour
guy
guide was
right
cute,
here.
though. He was cute.
Oh, this guy right
Yeah.
here.
But the mom was like, "Ooh, hey," just like she was like living her best life, looking around. And so, now when you were in college, did you have co-ed bathrooms? We did
No,
not.
never. Oh, but I was on a co-ed floor, but we didn't have we didn't have a bathroom.
It
that
was a
co-ed.
huge deal when I was in college that we were even on a co-ed floor. Like the fact that the boys and the girls could be in their own separate rooms, but occupying the same floor was controversial at the time.
Yeah. No, we did.
Yeah, not the same bathroom.
Did you?
No.
No, you weren't on a co-ed
Yeah.
floor. Like the co-ed, I was on a co-ed floor. It definitely smelled better. Whenever there's like an all boy floor, it didn't smell so great.
And ours, like we were like ours was like co-ed, but yeah, that wasn't the no co-ed bathrooms.
No.
Oh, so then she finds out that she tells the RA that she's in room 1227, and the RA gives her a look.
He shudders.
Yeah.
He's also
Yeah.
He's a grad student who's an RA. I found that sad.
Really?
They kind
Isn't
of
that
have
kinda
sad
normal?
portrayal of him, isn't it? Though, if you're a is that really what like grad students do?
But you get paid.
It tends
guess.
to be students that are older than the rest of the school population.
Oh, okay.
So it's if not a
Right,
grad
they get
student,
paid.
it's
Don't they
usually
get,
like
like-
a senior. It's not a freshman being the RA.
Yeah,
Because don't they get paid, and don't they get like free, like
you got a free place to live.
a free
Probably.
dorm or free room and
Yeah, that's
board?
pretty good if
Probably.
you get that.
Yeah.
All right, it's triumphant then.
So then Jenny's noticing.
triumphant.
Jenny noticed that she got a look when she said 1227.
Oh, 1227.
And-
Again, the murder happened a week ago. And nobody's fucking talking about it as if it's not the biggest thing that's happened at campus in decades.
You would
Right.
think, yeah. You think they'd mention it on the tour of the school that you got over here? You may have read this in the news a week ago.
Well, yeah, aren't they required to like send a big email out to the parents saying, just so you know,
I don't know
what
about
happened on
that.
campus?
Just we haven't replaced the safety bars on the accessible roof yet, but
Well, also didn't I don't know if I don't know if this was an old wives' tale or if it was a real thing, but there were always rumors that if you lived in a dorm room with somebody who dies, be it by suicide or other means, they usually don't fill that slot with anyone else for the rest of the year because they feel like, oh, you're probably
Right.
going through it. We're not going to thrust another roommate on you right now. And the fact that they put Jenny in this room is kind of wild to me.
Right.
Must
Oh,
have been
not
a waiting list.
only in the room, they put her in the bed.
Yeah.
Did they change the sheets at least? It seemed like it was pretty fresh.
So I wrote. So when they first went to the room and the roommate opened the door, I wrote, "Oh, this girl is trouble." And so yeah, I did think that was weird that they put her in the bed, and then people were like, "Oh my God, you're gonna sleep in that bed?" And she didn't know. Jenny didn't know.
Yeah.
This girl Beth, that's the roommate. She had that vocal fry. Hello, I'm your new roommate. You have to sleep in the bed where the girl died.
Name.
How's it go, Kurt? Talk like
What's
that more,
that?
please. Please talk like that more.
Actually, don't worry, she died off the.
I think, Kurt, that anytime we make references to dated things, like when we talk about like Suzanne Plachette or something like that, but you need to do that in vocal fry.
Okay, yeah.
my God.
So people know I know some of the current stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Angelia. Jennifer slept here with that guy who was on Dancing on Air, Danny Terrio.
Danny Terrio was in Jennifer Slept Here?
Yeah.
Really?
No,
He was?
no. I'm thinking of someone else. Adrian. What's the
Adrian
guy's name?
Zmed.
Oh, Adrian Zmed.
Well, he
Yeah,
was
he
on
was
TJ
no,
Hooker. He was
Danny
on
Terrio was
Jennifer Slept Here as well. I don't remember that.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Adrian Zmed.
And he wasn't on. I got things confused. I got carried away with myself.
Wasn't Adrian Zmed also in Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks?
Yes.
And from Grease too.
Yes, and I believe he was in Jefferson. I think he was like the friend. He was kind of like a supporting role.
I'm looking it up now.
Whatever happened to Adrian Zmed? I'm surprised we haven't seen him in a Hallmark movie
Let's
or a
find
Lifetime
him.
movie. Where's Adrian Zmed?
Where is he?
We should start a podcast called Whatever Happened to Adrian Zmed.
Yeah, somebody did one
Seriously.
about Richard Simmons, In Search of Richard Simmons or something like that. They hadn't heard from him in a while. Yep.
I've told you that I know somebody that used to be roommates with a person that many think has basically kidnapped Richard.
Yeah. This poor Richard.
Right.
I'm going to look at Adrian Zmed is not coming up when I just search for Jennifer Slept Here. Let me look at his IMDb now.
Okay.
Please hold, audience.
So-
We have some important Adrian Zmed news
Yes.
to investigate. Right?
Our research team is on it.
Oh, wow.
And this is good. Many of our younger audience are learning who Adrian Zmed is, and he's becoming topical again.
Oh, he is?
He's because of us.
Yeah.
He's trending.
He was in several
Adrian Zmed.
episodes of The Love Boat. T.A.
So let's see.
Hooker. No, he was not on Jennifer Slept Here.
I thought that he was. Then who was on that show? Oh well, I guess it's okay.
Who was it? Like Barry Bostwick?
I'm not going to beat
Or, like-
myself
Well,
up.
no,
over
now
this.
I need to look up Jennifer Slept Here because I don't remember
Right.
who else was in it with Angelia.
Because was it like, who was it? Was it Barry Bostwick? Because wasn't Barry Bostwick big then?
Well, he's had a long career. He was in Rocky Horror Picture Show, and then years later he was in Spin City.
Who, Barry Bostwick? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was Brad in Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Glenn Scarpelli was in Jennifer Slept Here, who looks a little bit like it. Glenn Scarpelli
Alex
was
from
also
One Day at a Time.
yes,
Okay. Well, they're all welcome to come on the show.
Oh, but the latest YouTube from Adrian Zmed is March 23rd of 2021.
Oh, what was
See,
he
he's topical.
YouTubing about?
Theater Mania with Adrian Zmed.
Oh,
He looks good.
okay.
He's held up.
Nice.
So I guess he's doing theater now. Oh, whatever happened to Adrian Zmed? It's on Pinterest. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, so it's okay, Pinterest. I want that just has pictures. But I guess he's doing theater though.
All right, that's
All right,
good. I want to do theater too, soon again.
Again.
I want to do it again.
Anywho,
All right, here we go. We're back in. We're in the room. They meet. She gets Elaine's bed, and they meet Jenny. Jenny, who can I turn to? Jenny's
and
quiet.
they're fighting. And they're fighting because they're like, you're gonna let her sleep in the bed, and then it's like, well, what choice does she have?
That's not how girls fight, though, man. It gets down and dirty. Girls have a real fight. I thought a couple times they were gonna have a fight. Like one was gonna slap one of them. Okay.
Oh yeah. So then her friend. So then the party girl, because there's a party girl and the quiet girl. So then the party girl wants to hang out with her. And where are they? They're like in the cafeteria or something, right? And she gets grabbed by Dane.
Yeah.
So Dane Dame is just like, Dane is like, what's party girl's name? Dane is her ex-boyfriend.
Beth.
Yeah.
Beth. Dane is Beth's ex-boyfriend.
It
He's like,
should be noted that Dane is very hot.
Yeah, he's hot, but he's like, he's like one of those, he's 18, but acts like he's 14. He's like one of those.
Yeah.
Because like he grabs her and she's like, get away from me.
He's not an old soul.
No, he's very goofy. But he's acting like an 18-year-old would act.
Yeah.
Like an 18-year-old guy would act. And so then they go back to the room and the black hoodie's in the room.
Well, we haven't even, before we go back to the room, Jenny sits down with Beth and the friends there, and she hears all about Elaine and Elaine's fall, and their story that they tell her is that, like, yeah, we heard that she was up there to get some fresh air from the party.
Right.
And then she calls her mom. No, her mom calls. She goes, I just learned Mom, I just heard the girl that used to sleep in my bed is dead. So Mom is going to come up and get her because I guess she's afraid the room is haunted.
And again, this should have been on the news everywhere.
Everybody there knows.
And again, remember, she's only 30 miles away.
Yeah. But the reason everybody there
So
knows,
it's
Kurt,
not-
is because they all watched it happen.
Yeah, it was
Right.
firsthand. It was firsthand news. They watched from
Right.
their window.
Like,
as
how
she
is that
passed
not
by.
spread like wildfire on social media like 5 minutes after it happened?
Yeah, I guess it's not a rumor. You just look out the window. You
Yeah.
get the news. There she is. Oh man, yeah. I think that would be a news story.
Right. Like it would be on the website or like the Facebook page of the school.
Somebody would have interest.
You see some tweets.
Mm-hmm.
So
Some TikToks.
right.
Even some old classmates.com would pop in. Our classmate collapsed
Still a
off
thing.
the roof.
Is that still around? Classmates.com. Remember that was a huge thing for a while, and you
Yeah.
get alerts all the time about somebody joining.
Right. I used to love classmates.com though, just because then you'd find out who like did not age well.
Yeah, but now we have Facebook for that.
Yeah.
Right. And you still see who didn't age well. And it's like, look at you.
Was that what you
Guess you
said?
peaked at 17, huh?
Damn.
Oh, I'm mean. Teach you to make fun of my oily skin. Look at it. Who's laughing now?
Yeah. I try to have compassion. There are people on there who weren't particularly nice to me in high school. Not just I'm compassionate. I mean,
I'm not.
Yeah, if they weren't nice to me then, I'm not going to add them as a friend now. I've had a few friend requests. I'm like,
no,
you
I
were
don't
a
add
dick to
them.
me.
I
Why
see-
would I
I
accept
see-
your friendship?
No, I don't.
Right.
I get like friend requests. I'm like, nah. You were a sociopath. There's no cure for that.
Yeah.
Or, I'll say things like, wow, looks like you've been eating.
Damn.
Good.
Whoa.
Oh, I mean.
Damn. I have seen Les in action. We told a story a while back about when we're in the Indianapolis Museum. And Les got into it. Les got into it with this woman who worked there because he wasn't allowed to have a backpack there. He's being harassed. And what did you say? Les, you said, you sound like you suck and your art sucks.
I said you and your museum suck. Whoa, hey, but then it ended up making national news.
Oh, they did.
Then that museum ended up making national news for discrimination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you
did.
But you even threw the art under the bus. You're like, you suck and your art sucks. And I was like, oh, there's like a Rembrandt there. What are you talking about? I think and you're like, no. It's because you explained it was she ruined your experience of the art.
Yes, but I do like that I was vindicated because then it was in like the national press for discrimination.
Yeah, we experienced it firsthand.
Profiling. And I'm like, well, gee, I'm shocked. Oh, okay. So they go back to the room and they catch the black hoodie in the room, and Beth says, "Oh, it's Dane looking for panties." And it was like, wow, Dane. Oh, and then didn't they end up stabbing him? they end up stabbing the black hoodie. So that's why. Yeah. So then they were like, well, we're gonna figure out who did it because the person got stabbed.
Yeah, what I forget what she said. Was it like scissors or something?
Yeah.
Like Jenny had it and like just sort of grazed his arm, but it cut through the hoodie and cut his arm or shoulder.
Yeah.
He's trying to steal her panties. That's kind of weird.
Well, but then Dane, you saw how Dane acted, though. I wouldn't. It was something that I wouldn't be shocked if he did.
Yeah,
I'm always proud of myself. Like I hear that, I'm always proud of myself when I hear a creepy thing that I wouldn't think to do. I'm like, oh, I'm better than that. So it's a real ego boost.
So then we find out that Beth. So the RA turns up, and we find out that Beth thinks the RA is creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Like Beth chews out the RA like it's his fault that this guy is like broken into their room. Like the RA is somehow security and should be keeping people out of the other rooms.
Right. But he is kind of sus though. He is kind of sus because he's very jittery.
Well, and I think he's in the movie to be a red herring.
Yeah.
Right. So then Beth who was it? Beth or someone was like, well, maybe Elaine was murdered.
Mm-hmm. I think it might have been Sarah.
Or was it Jenny? Someone was like, maybe she was.
Oh, that's right. No, it was Beth or Jenny because Sarah wasn't there at this point.
So then Sarah's the mean one, right? So then Sarah comes home and she's being really mean to Jenny too.
No. Beth, right?
Beth is the vocal fry girl. Yeah, Beth is vocal fry. Sarah is the kind of moody, gothy one.
Quiet one. Okay, yeah.
So then then you realize, well, wow, Sarah was traumatized actually because her roommate died. So of course she's gonna be, So then, so then we see Jenny laying on the bed, and then we see like Elaine was written on the bed.
Yeah, I wrote Jenny gets in the deadly bed. It looks comfortable.
Were you coveting the bed the same way you covet the food in these movies, Kurt?
No, I may have been really tired, so I was like, oh, I'd sleep in a dead person's bed. Of course I would.
I mean, if we're being completely fair, a dead person's bed is probably the most restful kind of rest you're going to get.
Yeah. Right?
I'd move the dead person over, of course.
Well, yeah.
And it had only been a week, so it wasn't like the mattress was still good because it had only been a week, so the mattress was still new.
You Febreze that thing, you're good.
You didn't have to flip the mattress or anything like that. No. There's still time for that.
So
and she didn't die in the bed either.
We're in the boutique, and her.
Wait, what was that?
She didn't die in the bed either, Elaine.
Right.
No,
she died on the sidewalk.
She fell off of the roof.
Yeah.
Oh, so then we see Kristen, the mom, and she's telling her coworker about what's going, about the murder and all that stuff. And I like, you know what? Beth is a really nice roommate because she's like, hey, I'll take you shopping, Jenny, and I'll buy it for you. I thought it was very nice.
So was she going to buy it too?
She takes her shopping.
But she shamed Jenny for wearing a sweatshirt, like a sweatshirt and sweatpants.
Well, and that plays into a plot point later in the movie, and her taking her shopping also plays into that same plot point.
Right. Mm-hmm. So then we see Jenny, and she's running for the coach, but her leg is still bugging her. But she's trying to get her strength up so she could get the scholarship back. So that's the B storyline. She's trying to get her scholarship back.
I admire that.
And she tells the coach, I'm determined to get my scholarship back. It's gonna happen. And so then we see Beth, and she's all dressed up, and she's wearing
heels,
way overdressed for her first day of class at college. Right. It looked like she was going to a nightclub.
Right.
And Jenny says, how are you going to walk around in those heels all day? And she says, beautifully.
And this is in my notes where I started calling the RA poor Kyle.
Aww.
Because Kyle was basically like, anything that could go wrong happened to Kyle in this movie.
He had like 8 million jobs though too. He was the
right.
Why does that keep going off? He was the campus guide. He was the RA in the floor, and now he's the TA in Jenny's American History 101 class.
He walks around to each dorm room selling grit. You know, talking about Grit magazine.
What's grit?
Grit.
All right.
What's grit? Is that like?
It used to be in the back of comic books. They'd say you can make money selling Grit magazine.
See, Grit sounds like
That's an old reference.
It sounds like a dirty magazine.
No, it was like a rural magazine. I think this reference is like from the 70s at this point. I have to up my game. Hey, that Harry Styles is really something, huh? There you go.
So Jenny's in class, and her professor's a dick.
You dick.
Like such a dick.
Yeah. Dr. Davros.
And he hates Jenny immediately. Like she hadn't even said anything, and he like just hated her.
Well, he walks in and like makes a loud noise. You all jumped at that. Now, was that psychological or pathological or whatever it was?
And the mean professor was one of these guys who thinks he's hotter than he is.
Yeah, he gave off a vibe of like cult leader.
Yeah, with the bow tie.
Yeah.
But he was definitely one of those guys like you see in West Hollywood that think they're the shit, and it's like, you're really not that hot. Yeah. You need to like take it down to a 5.
Yeah.
Sport.
You grew up with some level of affluence, and you think that makes you better than other people, and you operate from that as your baseline.
But you have a pot belly and a flat ass, so shut up.
Damn. Les is taking no prisoners. Whew. I'm glad. I'm thankful Les likes me.
Oh yeah.
I do like you, Kurt.
And I like you. I like you too, Jason.
Thank you. Likewise.
It's a love fest. I don't want to get caught in those crosshairs.
Oh, and then I wrote Dr. Davros is very dramatic, which he is. Like, and then he kind of hits on her, but like he gives her stink face, but hits on her at the same time.
I mean, I think this goes back to what we've said about Lifetime movies largely, is that at the center of most of them, the plot of the movie is somebody is gaslighting the female protagonist. Like this guy is the definition of gaslighting.
Once again, and this once again, and I've said this about Lifetime movies before. This is a masterclass in gaslighting.
Yeah.
So then Jenny. Oh, so he's mean to Jenny. So Jenny comes back to the dorm. She's really upset. Sarah's being a bitch to her and like just basically ignoring her. And so basically gaslighting her as well. And so then Jenny yells at her, why don't you say hello?
Yeah, she grabs her book and grabs her Walkman. And Walkman, her Discman.
She's listening to Men Without Hats.
Yeah, she's listening to Men Without Hats. She's listening to that. Yeah.
And then this is what. Go ahead. No, I was going to say, this is why it's.
She's listening to madness. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Madness. She's listening to Martika.
Toy Soldiers.
Our house in the middle of the street.
Oh, so then this is why it's total gaslighting from Sarah's end, because Sarah looks at her and is like, well, I don't dislike you. I was like, well, why are you acting like this? And she's like, I dislike Beth, but I don't dislike you.
She says that Beth is as fake as $20 Prada.
And she's got a point there. And then, and so then we see another scene where something's being poured into a cup.
Yeah, it's something nefariously being poured into a coffee cup, and the old professor from the class earlier in the movie is sort of like wearily walking to his office to get that cup, and he sips it, and then he starts choking.
Yeah, there's a brief scene with this professor where he like says like, "What is history?" And so Jenny raises her hand. He says it's a rhetorical question. It's not a town hall. Don't be a dick.
Right. So then the coffee worked because we walked in and the mean professor was being carted away.
I can't believe someone drinks. I can't believe someone drinks coffee at that time of day.
It was late,
you know.
Right?
Yeah. You can't be doing that. No wonder he had a heart attack.
I mean, I guess it could have been.
Maybe it wasn't even drugged. It was just regular coffee. He was pouring coffee in a cup. I thought it was water.
And his heart couldn't handle it anymore. You've had 20 cups today. Stop.
And then what happened to Kyle? Because I wrote here poor Kyle again, but I forget what happened.
I don't know.
Because it was something with the bow tie teacher.
And I don't think he's in that class.
Oh, and then I wrote here the teacher, the bow tie teacher, just for shits and giggles, asked Jenny for her paper for her homework and just wrote a C on it without even looking at it.
He looks at like 2 pages, gives her a C.
And just gives her a C.
Well, then he gaslights her about the paper and her appearance. So this is where Beth buying or Jenny buying the sweatshirt earlier in the movie with Beth's money, and Beth giving her crap about it. Now we're back to that again. Her in a sweatshirt, and the professor is giving her shit about basically being frumpy.
Yeah, he says her look is
he yelled
frumpy
at her.
tracksuit.
Yeah, and he tells her to get it together, get yourself together, and gives her a C because of her tracksuit. And then she's like, you gave me a C. And he's like, your work is subpar. Oh, and then he told her, she looked like she slept in an alleyway. He was not, you think I'm mean? He said that to her. She looked like she slept in an alleyway. And I'm like, damn. And then as she was getting shit, Beth just kind of looked at her like, I told you.
Oh, Beth tells her that she dresses up to get good grades. That's why she was looking like she was going to a nightclub.
Right.
I knew professors who were hooking up with like girls in the class, and the girls would get A's, or like the friend of the girl would get an A. Like if you were a guy, you actually had to do the work.
What if you had a female or gay male professor? You couldn't use that to your advantage too?
Good luck. I don't know if a lot of female professors are doing that. I don't know. A gay professor could work though.
Yeah.
But then I would have to be gay, and so that's not going to work out.
Well, you wouldn't have to. You just have to.
I could give him like a massage, like a back massage.
Okay.
To get my grade up. I might be willing to do that. Depends on what I don't know. Maybe we should stop talking about this. This is getting uncomfortable.
I just want to know where the Kinsey scale and your college experience overlap, Kurt.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely confused.
So we see Jenny running some more, like she's trying to get her strength up. And then she talks to her mom on the phone. And she tells her mom what's going on. But then Jenny decides to play the game, and she gets a makeover.
Not a fun makeover, though.
No.
No montage.
No, there's no montage. And she does it begrudgingly. Like, she's not happy about it at all. Mm-hmm. And then Jenny yells at Beth, like she's pissed at Beth. And then she tells her mom about all of the sexism going on, about the girls, dressing up for the better grades. And then
it was so expository in a way that felt like it was an after school special.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then Kristen is pissed, and every time Kristen gets pissed, she's like, "You're coming home right now. I'm coming to get you."
She really was a reactionary, wasn't she?
Yeah, and everything, like, "I'm coming over there. I'm coming to get you." And so then we see someone's trying to get into the room, right? And then Jenny was in the kitchen. Who was it? Was Jenny in the kitchen?
Jenny was in
the kitchen. She goes to the kitchen.
She goes to the dining hall. How is the dining hall open to students at midnight?
Yeah, and are you just allowed to take food? Because they were taking some stuff and eating it.
Like, because she's there, and then doesn't she runs into Kyle, the tour guide, RATA?
Right.
Maybe he's working in the dining hall too.
Yeah, he's working
maybe he's a lunch lady too.
He works the night shift as a lunch lady.
Right. Well, he does have a million jobs.
Yeah.
He's like that Jamaican family on
In Living Color.
I
was thinking the same thing.
Right. Right. So then, now, why did Dr. Davros throw her paper at her?
Did he? I don't have that here.
Oh.
She got I don't remember why, but she got another C on her paper.
She gets C's from the dudes. There's a female teacher who gives her an A.
Yeah, they replaced the dead history professor with the female, and the female is like, "Oh, I'm going to reward you for your work."
Yeah, and gives her an A.
Yeah.
Like she deserves, because she's a very hardworking student.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Then she should have done that old John Ritter thing where when there's a will, there's an A. Remember there was like an infomercial? He would teach people how to get an A.
I remember that phrase where there's a will, there's an A, but I don't remember an infomercial or anything. Was it like a learning
John
technique
Ritter.
or something?
Yeah, it was and we watched some of it when I was in high school, and it was John Ritter was like the host of this thing. He's like, where there's a will, there's an A. He was very good at sounding earnest.
He was.
So then, how would you get an A?
What was it? I think one of the things that they said was you study I don't know if I'm right. I think it was you study in short periods, rather than studying for hours, you study short periods, take a break. So they said that was helpful.
Right.
If you search for it, there's a zillion YouTube videos that come up right away.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the whole thing's probably on YouTube now. Yeah. Where there's a will, there's an A.
So then Beth or Jenny's all dressed up, and Sarah yells at her because basically she's like, "You conformed. How dare you?" But then Jenny's like, I'm getting shitty grades here. I got to do something.
Yeah.
And
well, I shouldn't say yeah. Okay.
So then Jenny goes to class and she has a moment of clarity, and she notices that all the girls are dressed up. All of them in the class. And so then she gets her paper, and all of a sudden she got a B. He was giving her C's, and now she got a B.
Oh, I know you're talking about Kyle. He sees her in the hot outfit, and he kind of he's disappointed in her. You could see it on his face.
Oh,
it was.
But she's like, dude.
It was like that acting exercise. It's his disappointed mask he's wearing.
But she's like, dude, I gotta, I'm trying to get my scholarship back. I gotta get these grades up.
No, you still get the disappointed mask.
But now she's getting B's. So there you go.
I hung out with my improv class. There was this very attractive woman who joined the class that night, I think, and so I hung out with her that night, and she went to like this bar, and all she talked about was her acting classes where she learned the mask. I learned the mask. I have the happy mask for the side. I was like, okay, I had enough of this.
Did you say I gotta go?
Yeah, I was like, I can't listen to this. This is too, sometimes.
And this was in New York too, right, Kurt?
It was, yeah.
So I'm sure she was just like, and before you get mad, I'm an actor, so don't come for me.
Well, I am
but I'm sure she was. So, but was she like one of those like New York theater actressy ladies, like just very
attractive
and dramatic?
Very attractive woman. I believe she had an accent. I don't remember where she was from, but I heard a lot about the mask. I just remember her saying the mask. I was like, okay.
Well, Jenny didn't have a mask, but she got a B.
B. That's good.
Oh, so then Dr. Darrow invites Jenny to a party. She gets an invitation with her paper when he gives her her paper back.
Mm-hmm. To the mentorship.
And then this is where I wrote, it's like Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah. And now that I've realized that, this party, even not having seen the movie, I could see why you would make that comparison.
Well, if you haven't seen the movie.
But I know broadly what it's about.
Anyway.
Because Beth was invited too. It's all old teachers and young girls, and they're all dressed up in like
And he wants to introduce them to like people that are influential people. And he says to Jenny, that person over there, they do endorsements. Do you want to get an endorsement? How's she going to get an endorsement? Don't like Olympic gold medal winners, don't they get endorsements? She's like somebody who's trying to get a scholarship.
Well, they'll sponsor people at lower levels of competition as well if they see them as potentially moving past that level in their career.
Oh, well, you better be good.
But then the female teacher was there too.
Yes.
The teacher that likes her was there.
Yeah. And they had a nice combo.
And so Pardon?
I said they had a nice combo. Like, she tells Jenny that Dr. Davro has been saying that she's got real potential as a psychologist, and it was very nice.
His name was Eric. Eric says you have potential.
Who's Eric? Oh,
Dr.
Eric
Davro.
Davros, the creator of the Daleks on Doctor Who. Davros.
And like, so she's with Beth.
Okay, somebody gets it.
Oh, I get it. I watched Doctor Who.
You got it? Okay, good.
Not.
I was like, somebody at home gets it. Somebody gets that. Exterminate. I think Jason would like that. If Jason watched the Doctor Who, the one from the 70s, the Genesis of the Daleks, I think you would enjoy that.
I don't think I would enjoy it. I
think you would. It's so much fun.
I do not think I would enjoy it. I'd rather watch more Adrian Zmed.
Oh, no. Davros creates the Daleks, and he's just this evil character.
Now, I got to tell you, this was a nice house for like a college professor's salary. This was like a beautiful, like mansion-like home.
Well, it was until we find out what he was doing before he was a professor at this school. Like, he's written several best-selling books about psychology. Like, he had other means of making money before he took on this gig.
He didn't say they were bestsellers. They looked like self-published books that he had on display. One was called The Female Specific Psychosis, I think, and the other was called, I don't know what I wrote. A Soviet of Victory? I don't know what I wrote. A Jovial of Victory. Something, I don't know. Those books looked like they were like cut and paste, like old-fashioned cut and paste.
I think now we're just shading the art department
And
on
I
this
wrote
movie.
here he was there.
I think now we're just shading the art department on this movie.
Yeah. Oh well. Well, get better, guys. So that they didn't look like real books.
Yeah.
And then I wrote he's very braggy.
Yeah.
He's just bragging.
And he gives a whole speech about how back in the day, back in the 60s, men would dress up and women would dress. And she said, well, should I come to class wearing a poodle skirt?
Yes.
And that was the 50s. He's talking about the 60s.
I feel like there were poodle skirts early
And
60s. That carried over.
They're in the 60s too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So then, like, so she and Beth are underage. So they made it a point to say something about not drinking, but then all of a sudden he pours her a drink. And then
Not more
he
coffee.
grabs her and kisses her. And she kicks him.
He said, "This is how you get an A."
Right. And she kicks him. And then she leaves and Beth goes after her. But then we see her running. She has a running montage and her running's improving. Like her time's getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And the coach, to the point that the coach is like, okay, if you shave a minute off your time, I'm letting you back on the team. And then, so that means that she's on the verge of getting her scholarship. So then, poor Kyle does something again. And, so she's in class the next day. And Dr. Davros is like being a dick. And he wants her to he wants to use her as an example for something. And Kyle is there. Poor Kyle is there. And he's like, and Dr. Davros is like, I want you to volunteer. But she knew that he was up to something and probably going to humiliate her. So she says no. And he gets her paper and takes her B and turns it into a D.
And very dramatically in front of the whole class.
Yes, a lesson for everyone.
Yes. And then everybody raised their hands. Everybody it's like, you fucking wusses. Because nobody had the entire class raised their hand and volunteer.
No one had her back.
And Jenny was like, oh, hell no, and yells at him. And then she then talks to Beth, and she's like, Beth, we need to go and report him. And so then
then she goes there and she catches him with that female teacher, the history teacher.
Well, because she got the idea of like, I'm going to go to the history teacher because she'll believe us and she'll help us go to the administrators, and then goes to talk to her and sees her and Eric getting cozy.
Yeah.
Yes. So then there goes that. So then,
and they're all like, she's like, close the door. And they're fully clothed and everything. It's
right, and she's already seen you, so it's too late. But then her mom shows up. Kristen shows up at her job because she works at a sandwich shop or something.
Yogurt shop.
And
smoothie.
And so then her mom is like, well, I talked to Dr. Darrow. And
for advice.
Yes. So like he sucked the mom in too.
How can my daughter get an A? Well,
how
you holding
Kristen, right? I'm surprised he didn't do that, actually.
You think that would be his fantasy? No.
So then all of a sudden, Sarah the mean roommate's being nice. And then, so Sarah's like, hey, Jenny, do you want to go to the park and talk? And Jenny was like, okay, Sarah and Beth, I'm sick of your shit. You two are going to get along. You two are going to make friends and get along. Uh-huh. So then they all three went to the park. And they get on the Ferris wheel, and the Ferris wheel broke. And then Sarah shares why she's pissed. And so we find out that Sarah was one of the girls too, and Sarah did the dressing up thing, and it did not go so well for her.
I think it's absurd that Elaine died because she was pushed off a roof. So the bonding exercise these three young women do is they're like, let's get on a ride that takes you to a really, really, really high altitude and is suspended there for some time if it gets stuck.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it was an immersive experience.
Yes.
Right. And then, we find out that Elaine was one of the girls too, and Elaine was going to report it. And that's when she mysteriously died.
Oh.
And so did we see the black hoodie again?
Not yet. I don't think so.
Or they explained, they explained that they were saying, Dr. Darrow was probably the one with the black hoodie because he wanted to move around without being recognized.
Yeah. They're having a little trouble figuring out what exactly happened.
Right. They're like, he's Dr. Davros is probably the one wearing the black hoodie. And so that's how he's lurking around without being caught. And then Dr. Davros is just extra pissed at Jenny at this point because she caught him. So he's like, I'm just done with you, F.
I wonder if they'll make a movie about that Ferris wheel, just like they made like Jungle Cruise and Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right.
Oh, they will? Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay. Les said right. It's in production.
We need a Teacups movie. We need
if Les was like a studio executive. They pitched that.
We need
Yeah, good.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be if there's a Teacups movie.
I want a Tilt-A-Whirl movie.
A teacup movie?
Yeah, sure.
I would not be surprised. And the teacup spins, and then you end up in another land.
That'll give you
I would
ideas.
not be surprised.
Well, that could work.
Actually, the Jungle Cruise did very well in the box office.
Of course it did. It's Disney. It's Disney. It's got The Rock in it. It's going to do well.
I keep looking at this magazine. There's in a Parade magazine. There's a picture of them, The Rock and or Dwayne Johnson, whatever he's called now, and Emily Blunt. And Emily Blunt looks like an exam proctor. She just has this look on her face. I don't know.
I met her
Something
once.
about her that irritates me.
I met her once. She was very nice.
She probably is very nice.
I
don't know. Recent photos have annoyed me.
I was on my way to the Cannes Film Festival, and I met her in an airport as we were waiting for a private jet.
Yeah.
But we weren't on the same private jet. But
Well,
she's
you
waiting
should
for
have
a private jet, and I was waiting for a private plane.
Was she with John Krasinski at the time?
No, she was with her baby, though.
Okay.
I
Okay.
didn't. She had. I wonder how old that kid is now. This is probably like, I want to say like 7 years ago.
Okay.
6 or 7 years. Probably 7 years ago.
I like The Quiet Place.
Right? I need to see A Quiet Place 2. That's what I might do tonight with my night off.
I haven't seen that one.
Watch A Quiet Place 2. Because the first one was good. I liked the first one. I hear the second one's good too. Oh, anyway, so Jenny yells at the teacher and she says that she's going to report him. And so then she gets Sarah. She's like, well, Sarah, why don't you come with me? And so she and Sarah are sitting on a bench and they're discussing, hey, well, how do you want to do this? What do you want to do? And then someone
Wait. We should point out they're not sitting on the sitting part of the bench. They are the bench is, first of all, located on like a walkway that overlooks pavement down below, and they sit on the back of the bench, so they are vulnerable to just fall over that ledge.
Okay,
I noticed that as well. It was right from the beginning. It was weird. Like, well, there is a seat part of the bench.
Yeah,
that
doesn't look like a dangerous place to sit. But sure, sit up top.
Yeah, I guess maybe they like to mix it up. Sometimes they just lie underneath the bench. They're tired of the same old uses of the bench.
They sit upside down like work from work.
And so they're sitting there, and all of a sudden, somebody in a black hoodie just runs by and pushes them.
Yeah,
I don't blame them. I'd want to too if I saw people sitting that way on a bench. It's just like when you're in a museum, you see like a big pile of cans as a piece of art. You want to push it down.
Yeah. Like, look, I'm not one of these people that believes because someone dresses provocatively that they're, asking for it. But if you're sitting up on that, upper ledge of a bench and it's overlooking something from a vantage point where you can fall over that, you are asking to be pushed off that.
That's but
I think we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Well, they were pushed. And Sarah and Jenny had been doing her exercises because she cupped the wall and pulled herself up, whereas Sarah was flat on the ground.
Oh no, Sarah survived that one.
Yeah.
Sarah is now in a coma.
Look, like she broke every bone in her body falling down like that.
And so now Kristen, the mom, is really like, oh, I've been dying for this moment. I am going back to that school again. So
Yes.
So she heads to the school.
Well, she tries to.
Well, first, there's a shoplifter that delays her. The shoplifter, like, I don't know, whatever happened. She has a kerfluffle with the shoplifter, and that delays her going to the school.
Yeah, 'cause she's like waiting for the police and whatnot.
Yeah,
so it slows her down.
And so Beth is blaming Dane, but it wasn't Dane because Dane actually took Jenny, like he helped Jenny out in the hospital.
She's his
and
alibi.
Dane turned out to be like a nice guy. Dane turned out to be a nice guy, actually.
Dane, would you please sit down?
Because I guess Dane he either witnessed what happened or he was around when they fell.
Yeah.
So Dane went to the hospital with them. And so then so then we see the teacher, the nice teacher with Dr. Darrow. And so the teacher finds Dr. Darrow's materials and he kills her. And so
he says he hates local news. Oh, he says he hates local news. Maybe that's why nobody saw that story about Elaine falling. Maybe that's just a thing in that area. They hate local news.
So was this movie made for like the MAGA people that are believing that like news is all false?
Maybe.
Probably.
And they just avoid the news.
So then she gets killed, and then Dane takes Jenny, like he helps her home, and it's like, oh, Dane is actually nice. And then Jenny's like, okay, I'm done with this. My mother was right. I'm going home. And Beth, why don't you come to my house? And you can just stay at my house. And so then we get the obligatory shower scene. We get the Lifetime shower scene.
I will say that the Lifetime shower scene at this stage of the movie is normally a young male, and it was not this time.
Right. And then poor Kyle shows up on the scene again.
Right.
And we find out, we find out that Kyle has a big scar on his shoulder. So we find out that Kyle was the one with the black hoodie who was in the bedroom when Beth thought that it was Dane stealing her panties. It was actually Kyle, and we find out that the reason why Kyle has been breaking into the room is because Kyle was Elaine's boyfriend.
Secretly, because RAs cannot date undergrads.
Right. So then, and this is where my notes get spotty. I'm looking for the rest of my notes.
Or that's what she told him because she was embarrassed to be with him.
Right. Yeah, right. And the reason I guess she had printed incriminating pictures about her and Kyle together and had hid them.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And so then Beth is like suspicious. And then I have here, and this is where they found the incriminating pictures too, right?
They found the pictures?
Did they find them at this point?
They looked all around, and they found them like behind the bed.
Okay, good. So like in a secret cubby.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
But
But
then,
yeah.
But then, Beth. This is where we find out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Beth who was the killer.
Yeah, in the pictures we see Beth and Dr. Davros of the Daleks. Yeah, they were together. Yeah, it's like these private eye pictures with we see.
So in a way, he was like a cult leader because she was like one of his minions.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So then Beth has a gun, right? She has the gun, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kristen calls. And then Beth shoots Kyle. And then
Wait, no.
But
that happens out. Okay, what did we skip something?
Kind of.
You feel.
So
My notes are spy.
we found out that Beth was the one that was chasing Elaine. She gets her gun out. There's a struggle. Jenny gets away. And the mom is, I don't remember why the mom was yelling, call Jenny. She was trying to like do voice dial and it wasn't getting through to Jenny because Jenny's phone got jacked up in the bathroom when she ran into Kyle, the RA. So the mom's like, call Jenny. Call Jenny! She was like yelling at her phone. And then Beth decides, okay, I'm going to chase after Jenny and Kyle in a very inconspicuous bright yellow Jeep. Like people wear black hoodies in these movies and gloves to not get caught, but they're riding around in a bright yellow Jeep. And then, corners them. Beth starts shouting her evil plan, alibi. That's when she shoots Kyle. Then there's a distraction, like struggle. Jenny gets the gun away from her, knocks her out, throws the gun on the ground, and that's when Mom shows up.
Yeah, Mom shows up, and then Dr. Davros shows up. He's walking, and he admits that he killed the history professor, and he pulls out a gun, and he's going to shoot Jenny. And I think he's got a whole story, whole exhibition, not exhibition. What's it called?
Exposition.
Expedition?
The exposition, yeah.
Exposition, yes. He's got a lot of that. It's an expedition. And then the mom pulls out a gun, and she shoots Dr. Davros and just starts smiling away. There's no trauma or problem with her shooting a person. I don't know.
Because she's thinking, you messed with the wrong co-ed.
Yeah.
She must have served in the Gulf War. She must have served in the Gulf War or something, because she was really good with the guns and seemed to be kind of, this was just a way of life for her.
Well, good with the guns, but generally not good with pressure. Like anytime Jenny would tell her like one little thing was wrong, she's like, "You're coming home now." I feel
she must
like
have been a sergeant.
Maybe, I don't know. It just seemed like she would get really worried about everything.
I have a whole backstory in this woman. I think I may have worked more on the character than she did. But she was good.
What's your backstory?
Yeah, what is it?
I told you that she was in the Gulf War, and that's why she's like good at weapons, and she was a sergeant, so she has to like bully people around. I'm talking about the mom.
Yeah. So then Jenny is doing time trials.
Yeah, and they got the whole cast of the movie. If you had one word in this movie, like one line, you got to be in this last scene.
Right. And
the people she met who said, scared her in the beginning, telling her that was Eileen's room, they were there.
Right. Everybody was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she made it back on the team. Yay!
Which is, of course, the best character in the movie. The woman who decides that she got a scholarship. It's this woman with like gray hair. She has no lines. They probably did pay her. They probably paid her scale for background, featured background. And all she does is nod her head. Like, are you getting a scholarship? She just nods her head. And then she just walks away.
So she probably got bumped up, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, bumped up. She could have been somebody's mom, like an executive's mom or something like that. Something was fishy about that woman.
Yeah.
Like mom.
That was her yellow Jeep.
Yeah.
Mom, I'll give you.
She knows somebody. Trust me.
That was her yellow Jeep that they rode around in.
She either knew
Right, exactly.
Yes, that's probably what it is. That could be that. Yeah. Or that was her white house. That was her house. We're going to give you a prominent role in the movie.
Right. Exactly.
She gets to have a good lunch. You know, it worked out for her.
Right. I do like a good on-set lunch.
Yeah. Life could be worse.
Right.
I found myself envying that woman.
I like that the movie ended with they're back in the dorm. And Jenny and Sarah are very excited about their new roommate. Like
Lisa.
Sarah of all people, Sarah should be like, Sarah should go to that school and be like, "You fuckers put me in this room with this murderer who murdered the other roommate. I don't want to go through getting yet another roommate. Like, let me have a double for the rest of the year."
And this new roommate,
Right.
Lisa, why does she get off the hook? I mean, if you have one person, the last two roommates got screwed.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like, now you're going to sleep in a bed of either someone who died or a murderess.
Yeah.
Yay!
The murderess that killed her.
It was a murderess. Yeah.
Right? Yay! And so I was entertained.
I think I was too, now that I look back on it.
I guess so. Yeah, why not?
We're due for a wrong movie.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And especially now that we have a friend in the wrong cinematic universe, our friend Meredith.
Yeah.
And now that I've seen Eric Roberts up close and personal, I think that was a sign that we need to watch either a wrong movie or another Stalked by My Doctor.
You still haven't answered my pressing question from earlier. When is Eric Roberts going to be on our podcast? Why did you not approach him about this when you saw him in person?
Now that... So, here's the deal. I go to my chiropractor. The time that I went, it's going to be my new chiropractor time.
Okay.
So, because like I said, I'm still not sure if he was going into the gym or the chiropractor.
Okay. So you're hoping he's on a routine schedule as well?
Okay.
So I will be vigilant now.
Okay.
And this also means, because I live near my chiropractor, so I'm wondering if this means that he lives near me.
Oh, yeah, that's actually that's a genuine possibility.
Because, well, I won't say what part of town I live in, but part of my neighborhood is a nice neighborhood, and I live nice neighborhood adjacent.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Once we stop, I'll tell you guys off mic where I live.
Yeah, I kind of broadly know. Yeah.
But it would make sense. I bet he lives around here.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Okay. Yeah.
So that might be it.
So he could be on the show like live from your home studio. Same.
Right.
Nice.
Right. Like, hey, Eric, come over.
That neighbor. Come over, neighbor.
Eric, I've got a role for you as podcast guest.
That's true. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, make it like it's a roll-off for 8 times to say.
Well, no.
Just hand him an offer letter, see what happens.
But we do it on like Facebook Live, so we do it on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I say, Eric, it's on camera.
Yes.
You'll be on camera.
Yeah. We don't release
You
it.
might do it.
I don't think. Yeah, I think you will.
But he did have major "don't fuck with me" face though.
Oh, okay.
So, like major "don't fuck with me."
Maybe he was
face.
in massive pain and needed an adjustment.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be it too.
I mean, we have
Like
noted that he
adjustment.
had some sort of hip something done a few years ago, which is why his walk
did,
isn't
yeah,
super
he
straight. So,
did.
legitimately, it could be associated.
I bet I was going to my chiropractor then.
Okay.
And she's very like woo woo. Like I love her. She's very woo woo. So I bet he was going to my chiropractor.
Okay.
So now I know. Okay.
Chiropractor. The chiropractor of the stars. She works with Les Kirkendall Barrett.
I used to go to a chiropractor, and I
Adrian
saw Quentin Tarantino there once.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And she's very cool. She's very woo woo. So I could definitely see him going to her.
Okay.
Oh,
Was Quentin Tarantino like in the waiting room?
Yeah.
Just like waiting there?
Yeah.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah. And I saw another actor whose name I forget. He used to be in Mad About You and was also on episodes.
Richard.
Not Richard.
Karn?
Not Richard. Not Richard Kind. Not Richard
But I know
Kind.
exactly
The
who
guy
you're
that
talking
plays Paul's cousin on Mad About You.
I know who.
Yeah, black hair.
Yeah.
He's got black hair and he kind of talks like this and he's tall,
Yeah.
right? I know who you're talking about.
Richard Kind?
I'm not talking about
Richard
Richard
Kind?
Kind. Not Richard Kind. Not him.
Richard Kind.
Not Richard Kind.
No, it's not Richard Kind.
100% not Richard Kind. I know who Richard Kind is. It's not him.
Okay, I gotta Google this now. Here we go.
Was it?
Adrian Zmed.
It wasn't
Right.
Gil Gerard, was it?
It was not Gil Gerard. Gil Gerard is tall.
No.
It's the guy that played Cousin Ira.
I don't know what that is. I didn't watch Mad About You.
Oh. Okay, here we go. Matt.
Do you know that
John
they made a
Pankow.
revived?
John
They made like a
Pankow.
new. What's his name?
John
Witherspoon?
Pankow. And the new Mad About You, from what I saw of it, was terrible.
They made the show and nobody wanted it. Like they produced the show. There's an interview with Helen Hunt with Mark Maron, and she said they made these episodes and nobody wanted the show, and so but then somebody ended up.
Not every show needs a reboot.
Yeah,
Amazon or somebody decided.
Well,
to do
it was
it.
so they shopped the pilot to NBC. NBC was going to buy it. Then they saw the pilot and they're like, "Yeah, no, we're good." So I think the studio would produce it on their own, and no other network wanted it. So then Spectrum bought it to show on their cable channels. So like if you had Spectrum cable, you could watch it, but otherwise you couldn't.
Like Netflix didn't want it, and like streaming people didn't want it. Yeah. Oh well.
Oh my God! I totally forgot that I actually subscribed. Wait, what? I subscribed to Mark Maron's podcast, so I think I'm going to have a Mark Maron marathon.
Marathon.
It's good. It's good stuff.
Gordon Joseph Levitt, Lindsey Bucket. Oh my God. Okay, how does Mark Maron have like low ratings?
He doesn't, does he?
On the podcast reviews. It's not good. It's like a 4.5.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, if enough people, because he's had people like Obama on, so I bet people that don't like Obama have just gone on and given bad reviews to sort of counter the good ones.
He's very liberal also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that doesn't matter anyway.
Well,
I think the ratings are being skewed by people not that have listened to him and haven't liked the show, but haven't listened and don't like what he stands for.
You'd lose almost half of the voting public, allegedly.
Oh my God, he's got all these great people.
He does,
You know who I've been listening to lately? I have been listening to Howard Stern, and it's like a whole different show.
Yeah.
It's like Oprah.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like Oprah. Like he's changed, and so like it's really like it's like, oh my God, no more butt jokes.
No more Jackie the Joke Man. He's long gone. That's what I used to like.
No.
Just
him and Robin.
I listen to old Howard Stern a lot of times. And there's like the Jackie the Joke Man years, the Artie years. Now these years.
Artie Lang, whose nose, he did so much coke, his nose fell.
Yeah.
On that happy note.
Yeah.
All right.
Les, how can people find you?
If you want to find me, you can find me on Facebook at Kirkendall Barrett Presentations, or you can find me on Instagram at Kirkendall. Jason.
Please don't downrate our podcast. Give us a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening to us on so that more people can discover the show. Tell your friends about us. We would love that. You can find us all on Instagram at Lifetime of Hallmark Podcast. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Big Shot Jason. And I finally have something to plug. I was actually on a podcast that's all about West Hollywood, talking about the place where I work. That podcast is out now. It's called We Know WeHo. Kurt.
Cool. I was going to write that down. Let's see. Oh, my pen. Okay, so I'm going to promote my last year I was doing comedy sketches every week for a Fringe live stream. I was looking at them after a while, and I was kind of enjoying them. So you might enjoy them, too. So they're on my YouTube. Look up Kurt Fitzpatrick on YouTube or kurtfitzpatrick.com with a K. And that's all I have going on right now.
Les, you're muted.
And
there you are.
last but not least, I am in a show. I am in a live immersive version of the game Clue, called Clue Live. We are at Century City. We're in Century City for one more week, and then we move to Topanga Canyon for 5 weeks. It is called Clue Live. And get this, guys, I was actually recognized from my other podcast, The Reality Reading Rainbow.
Yeah.
I did the show, and this woman comes up and she's like, do you have the Reality Reading podcast? Are you Les? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, I recognize your voice. That's how I knew who it was.
That's awesome.
I was like, oh my God. So yes, if you want to come and see the show, you just Google Clue Live, and it will give you all the details. And it's looking like there are going to be Clue Lives now across the country. So it's kind of cool. And that's it.
Okay. Well, no extensions on the run because we need your schedule open for the show.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know physically, because this is like a legitimate theater run. So like it's like, a gajillion shows a week, one day off. I don't know if after 5, I don't know how people do this like year round.
Right.
My ass is like, by the time Sunday comes around, my ass is kicked.
Yeah.
So, but yes, actually, because I think it's, I'll keep my mouth shut. Anyway, until next week, bye.
Bye.